Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the Trained Unprofessional, and welcome back to Echo. On the last episode, she's just getting crazier and crazier, and on this one, apparently 3 different routes got updated. I don't know 100% about that, so we're going to check real quick to see what we can do, and then we're gonna do it, so let's do it. Jenna? First, because Jenna apparently got a very small... got a very small update, so we're gonna check to see what happened there. Oh god, what a fucking screen to come back to. I stare through the grainy darkness. The motel room air is stuffy, and my microphone is too far away. The air conditioning must be off. I look over. TJ is next to me in bed. Always a good sign. He's curled up in a fetal-like position, his knees raised and his tail between his legs. TJ doesn't usually sleep like that. Leo lays in bed across from us. He's laying on his back, his form perfectly still. There are no covers on him, and he's still in his jeans from yesterday. Neither of them are snoring, or even audibly breathing for that matter. It takes me a moment, but I can't actually tell if Leo's eyes are closed or not. I pictured in my mind him slowly turning his head, looking right at me, with no expression. That shit fucks with me. I don't like that. He has no eyes. They're just shadows. The fuck was that in sound effect? I blink, trying to shift my legs beneath the sheets. Fortunately, I can. I'm not dreaming anymore. Leo isn't actually looking at me. Why did I even think that? And why does it make me so unnerved? In the dream. Jesus. There's that sound effect again. I slide my feet out from under the covers and sit upright on the edge of the bed. Maybe a splash of water will make me feel better, though I could really use a dip in an actual pool. At Pueblo, there are so many of them around, I take it all for granted. The realization dawns on me that once I graduate, the chances of me being able to afford a place with one nearby are almost none. I wring my tail some in my paws, my fur is oily and damp. I'll definitely need to take a shower in the morning. Hell, if the tub shower didn't look like it had seen... What the fuck? Hell, if the tub shower didn't look like it had seen 20 years worth of dirty feet, piss, and cum, I'd take a bath. But first... gotta get that AC going. Oh, Jesus. I walk over to the wall-mounted AC by the window. I'm surprised this place doesn't use swamp coolers like every other home in Echo. It takes a second for my eyes to adjust to the darkness, but I manage to find and turn the control knobs. Despite cranking the thing to the max setting, only a petty stream of air is exuded from the front vents. It is cold, though, so there's that. I stick my face up to it, the blowing air on my whiskers making my jowls raise instinctively. It's refreshing, and the world seems a little less hazy. Still, I feel gross, more so than usual. I remember on Saturday morning I woke up super early to clean myself, trim my facial scruff and head fur, and just look as presentable as possible. I don't really know who I was trying to impress. Maybe show everyone that I was all well adjusted and normal now. All the grooming work I performed didn't last 4 hours in the hot car ride up to Echo, though. Especially when the AC went out all the way from Gold City to Route 93. We got warnings about this. Okay, so we're probably going to have to restart a lot of these routes. They gave a warning that this shit will come up if you're using old save files, so sometime in the background I'm gonna have to do that shit. Yeah. That's what I get for playing games that aren't done yet. It is my fault, I understand. So, this is just saying that it's Wednesday, by the looks of it, so, yeah, we know it's Wednesday. Oh. Maybe it's not Wednesday yet. I don't know what the fuck it was then. I glanced briefly to my camera bags at the end of my bed. I have a feeling I'm not going to get much done for my project. With some reluctance, I pull my face back from the cooling vents and head to the bathroom. Oh, hey! Wait, this is the same bathroom as at Leo's place. Aren't we at the fucking motel? But then why is Leo at the motel? There's a lot of shit I don't quite remember about what's going on in Jenna's route, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So I don't really remember what's going on. I try to shut the door behind me quietly, but it's still pretty loud. I look at the sink and realize that it isn't going to cut it. I tug off my shirt and underwear and then place them on the edge of the counter. At home, I just throw them on the floor, but I don't really trust how clean the linoleum is here. I think this is just a coincidental same picture as they used at Leo's house. I believe they're at the motel. I step into the shower. It gets hot quick, so I fiddle with the handle some. There's some red fur tucked in the corner, so I'm guessing Leo took one earlier as well. He was worried the police would come by his place, so he insisted on staying here while we searched for Carl. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, I remember now. I remember now what's going on. I remember him and I used to take hour-long showers together back when my family was out of town. My parents had one of those walk-in Roman-style showers with marble tile. He thought it was the coolest thing. I bend down and pick up the tiny complimentary shampoo bottle from the rack and begin to lather the contents into my fur. It's not exactly the best for my type of fur, but it'll work for now. Yells. Yells. I guess we're done. I step out of the bathroom in my towel. I wasn't expecting to take a shower when I first went to the bathroom, but I didn't bring a change of clothes in with me. Creeping over on the pads of my feet, I disrobe and quickly begin to put on a fresh t-shirt and shorts from my bag. And, of course, Chase? TJ and Leo are no longer in bed. The Lynx is over by the light switch, squinting blearily at me. Well, Leo blinks at me. Buenos dias. I quickly try to scamper on the rest of my shorts before going underwear for the time being. Oh, jeez. Oh, sorry, Chase. TJ turns, averting his gaze quickly. Leo just sighs some, rubbing his eyes. Thanks for the show. Your phone was going off while you were in the shower. My cheeks feel a bit warm as I manage to finally get my shorts up to my waistline. Oh? Who called? Leo stares blankly at me, looking more tired than any of us. I wasn't gonna check. An uneasy look punctuates that comment, and it catches me a little off guard. Can I turn around now? Yes, TJ. Thank you. The Lynx uncovers his eyes and moves back to the bed, sitting back down. He still looks like he hasn't fully woken up yet. Sorry for waking you guys. I was really needing a shower, otter stuff, you know. It's okay, Chase. You kind of woke me up from some pretty weird dreams. So, thank you. He manages a smile, trying to blink the blurriness out of his eyes, by the looks of it. His irises begin to narrow back to a slitted state. No problem, TJ. I actually should be getting back out there. It's 3:30 in the morning, are you sure? I finish putting on my shirt and move to check my phone. Yeah, I'm sure. Man, when I find that goat, I swear to God. He stretches some more, stifling a yawn. Not gonna let him out of my sight for a month. It's a text from Jenna. Hi, Chase. I can't sleep, so I'm heading back to the motel. If you're up, do you want to go out looking with me? I'm feeling a little better after my shower, so I send Jenna a quick text agreeing to help with the search. What does it say? TJ cants his head, peering at me with a sort of dazed, curious look. Jenna was having trouble sleeping, so she wants to go out searching. He looks up at me, his expression indiscernible. Isn't it kind of dark to try to look for him? I mean, not that I'm trying to dissuade you all, just seems kind of harder. It's that whole 48 hours thing. The harder we look now, the better. Sitting back and praying everything will work out won't do any good. TJ's eyes widen some, looking a bit taken aback. His jowls twitch some, the feline looking down at the sheets between his legs. There's a knock at the door, a rapping at the door. The sound of jingling keys can be heard coming from the other side. There's a scratching noise of metal on metal, the door being unlocked. After a moment it opens. Jenna steps out of the darkness, rubbing her arms some and making a beeline for her bag. Hello. Hey, TJ, Chase, Leo. She nods to each of us in turn before beginning to rifle through her belongings. Aren't you supposed to be keeping watch at the house? Aren't you supposed to be in jail? Ooh. What the fuck just happened to me? Ah. I tweeted out that I was streaming the update, and the official Echo Twitter retweeted my tweet. It's a modern-day hand job. TJ makes a noise that sounds like he just choked on his own spit. I try to avoid looking directly at Leo. He doesn't say anything, though. I hear the bed he's on creak audibly. She takes out 2 water bottles, tossing one to me. Oh, I only barely catch it, mainly because it's stopped by my nose first. Ow. My snout tingles with the aftershock. My nose feels wet for some reason, though. When I reach up, there's no blood. Must be the burst blood vessels. Oh. She stifles a brief, amused huff, looking apologetic. You're still trying to wake up, I say. You think that's funny, just walking in and hitting him with that? Leo's crackling baritone comes out of a few decibels too loud. His tone turn, like a scolding parent. His crackling baritone. Maybe I'm getting closer to getting these voices properly after all. Yeah. It has a way of catching everyone's attention. That wasn't the intent. There's a pause, Leo about to speak again, but Jenna managing to cut him off before he can. Speaking of, we're going to check in with Duke, see if he knows anything. Leo's jaw shifts as if trying to speak, but the words don't come out. He leans back, then forward again. Have fun. So, I remember seeing in the update, apparently the first time they uploaded the update, shirtless Leo took over all of the sprites of Leo in the game. But then, out of nowhere, we get shirted Leo, just sort of switched over. But he is trying to get up and go back out searching, isn't he? Or whatever the fuck he was doing, I don't remember, honestly. Chase, y'all set? She looks at me, expectant. I guess she's ready to go. Oh, yeah, sure. I force a smile, trying to downplay the cavalcade of tension this room has become. Goodbye, guys. See you later. TJ seems to be doing the same. Leo just stares. We'll text with some updates in a bit. Jenna pats my shoulder once before heading out. I follow suit. Yo. Yeah, to be continued. When we got that slow fade, I was like, that's a telltale sign that this update is like, okay, so it really was a very short update. Not a whole lot, certainly not enough for a video in and of itself. So we're going to immediately go in and check on Flynn, because Leo seems to be the one that got an actual ending. So we're going to check on Flynn. No. We're now going to check on Flynn, see if... Oh, we're still getting that slow fade out. Oh, here we are. At a ominous-ass looking bench. Oh, it's Friday, isn't it? Ooh, I like that. To be continued. Damn it. Okay, so we at least got... we at least got that. And I guess... what got added to Flynn probably has something to do with the other stuff that we could have done, but we didn't do it, so, meh. So, I guess without further effectin' ado, it was Carl, Jenna, TJ, and then this would be Leo. So for those who don't remember, where we left off on Leo's route is we are being taken by Brian into the mines, and we just got shoved into A room that smells, as you can see, of death. I lay there on the floor, not moving, listening to Brian as he tries to squeeze through the opening. I can remember years ago when I was maybe 12, walking along the dirt road back home after hanging out with Carl. On the side of the road, I saw some roadkill, and just as I passed by, I could see the white maggots writhing through the fur. The smell for that single moment was almost unbearable, and I gagged and ran past. And while the odor in here was a bit more faint, it's almost exactly the same. I hear Brian finally shift free from the exit, and he shines the light back down on me. I know I should run. I know I need to get the fuck out of here. I know I should be fighting like hell, because I know what's coming. Is this what it's like for people who get kidnapped or murdered? People wonder why they didn't fight harder or run when they had the chance. I should have ran the second we stopped in the truck. But right now, it's like I'm stuck in ice. My frantic thoughts are interrupted as Brian grasps me by the back of the shirt and pulls me back up to my feet. I'm not able to stand and just sort of crumple down next to him. The bear grunts and just drags me along into the little opening that we're in, dropping me against the wall. As Brian fumbles with the flashlight, I get a glimpse of my surroundings. It's small, maybe about 15 feet long and 10 feet wide. It's narrow enough that Brian takes up almost most of the space, and I'd be hard-pressed to get past him. I draw my knees up to my chest and hug them, feeling numb. God, you're such a useless piece of shit. I watch Brian lean over something against the wall. It looks like 2 long, polished pieces of wood. Brian tips the flashlight down, and I see that those pieces of wood are attached to a shovel and a pickaxe. Brian grabs a pickaxe. For a heart-stopping moment, I think he's going to turn to me. But instead, reaches into his pocket and pulls out something small and rectangular. It's not until he opens it and shines his flashlight on it that I see it's some kind of small notebook. The bear looks at the notebook, then back up at the little cave we're in. The silence is almost unbearable, and I feel the need to say something, if only to fill that silence. What are you doing? You know exactly what he's doing. Brian ignores me as he continues to search for something. I whimper softly in the back of my throat. Please. About to be murdered, and you just beg like a little bitch. Shut up! Can't help it as I hiss through my teeth at the goddamn voice. I don't need to hear it, especially now. Brian stiffens and turns around. What? I shake my head, squinting and unable to see his face as the bear turns the light on me. Nothing. It's just... No, you were talking to some. Did you see someone? Did you see someone? I try to remember what fucking voice... Yeah, he had... Did you see someone? No. I don't know. I shut my eyes against the light and only see blood red. Brian chuckles, and my vision goes back to blank as he takes the light off me. I was the same way as you. Let me tell you something, though. Ignoring it ain't gonna make it go away. Brian finally stops scanning the ground and crouches down. It takes me a moment to realize what he's looking at until he reaches down and picks it up. A smooth stone. Brian looks at it for a moment, thinking. Then he drops it off to the side and looks back down at his book. Daniel, 19, ferret. He was the smallest, I think. Should be enough room. What? Brian shines the light back down at the ground for a moment, then seems to make up his mind as he sets the butt of the flashlight on the ground. It brightly lights up the ceiling, leaving us in a dim yellow glow. Brian eyes me for a moment, positioning himself so he can watch me while also doing his work. Crouching over, Brian starts breaking through the hard surface of the dirt with a pickaxe, grunting with each stroke. He can only do short swings, the ceiling too low for Brian to even stand up straight. At this point, the smell of Brian has almost overwhelmed the stench of death. I guess it's one of those few things I don't mind his smell covering up. Why aren't you at least trying to escape? Because he's in the way. Because you're a coward. Why the fuck are you talking to me right now? I thought you left. I never left. You know that. You felt me even after you left the town. I shouldn't have come back. Probably not. Going insane brings back memories of my old life. I'm going insane, and it's bringing back all of my old demons. No, I think it's because you're in the mine. I think you figured out that it's the source of everything, haven't you? The voice I've been trying to ignore all week has changed. It's not vague or insidious anymore. It's more natural, like a real person. More like what I used to hear when I was a kid. Well, I was a real person. Sometimes I even doubt that I am a person. I am that person. It chuckles, and I feel the back of my brain itch. More like what do you call it, a simulation? He waits for an answer, but I don't want to talk to it. Oh, stop pretending I'm not here. You can feel me. You felt me looking over your shoulder since you got here. I let my head thump against my knees, closing my eyes. Well, really ever since Sydney. Just ignore it. But I can understand. Even I feel as though something is controlling me. It's the oddest thing. Hey! I snap my head up, jumping as I find the bear staring right at me. Hell, you mumbling? Nothing. Brian chuckles again and reaches across the other wall, grabbing the shovel. He starts digging up the loose patch of dirt in front of him. Yeah, keep it to yourself, I guess. But like I said, you ain't the only one. Brian gestures behind him with a thumb towards the ground. I look and see nothing except a few stones on the ground. After Rachel back there, things got way worse than aliens for me. I saw her at night crawling on my ceiling, peeking out from under my bed, staring at me from a window. Brian grunts as he digs the shovel deep, then lifts, turning a pile of dirt out to the side. So did Duke. Drove him crazy. Turned him into a speed addict. Not that I mind. He was always my most reliable customer. The sick, sweet smell starts to grow again, and it's starting to become overpowering. I feel like I should keep him talking, get him comfortable, and buy myself some time. Should you, though? Who's Rachel? Duke's wife. I try to remember what I know about Duke's marriage, aside from the fact that he isn't married anymore. I realize then that I do remember Rachel, but just barely. She was only around when I was in grade school, and was pretty nice as far as I can remember. Didn't he divorce her? Brian shrugs as he stops digging, resting on the handle. I guess he sorta did, but I mean, she was dead by then. They wanted my stuff, but didn't have the money. So I cut him a deal to fuck for the drugs instead. I mean, I can't say I like bitches and all, annoying and whiny, but she let me go way further than Duke ever did, so I mainly fucked around with her. It's not hard for me to picture exactly what the fucking was. Then one day, I guess I went too far. She died. We buried her right there. Brian points more specifically at a rock sitting against the other side of the wall. The big bear starts to dig again, more vigorously, lengthening the patch he's working on. But I didn't see her until right after I buried her, maybe a week later. The bear shakes his head and laughs mockingly. You'd think I'd stop me from doing it again, but you know, when the last breath came out of her and she sort of shuddered on the table. Brian glances up at me. Blew my load without even touching it. Made me wonder how good it could be with a guy if it was that good with a bitch. You want him to keep talking? Brian pauses in his sudden spurt of digging and looks up at me again. Probably wonder why I'm telling you this, thinking I'm crazy, but I don't know. Feels good to tell someone. You're like my own therapy, Otter. The bear looks back down at the hole he's made. The smell coming out of it was so overpowering I'm on the verge of gagging again. I don't see her anymore, though. It changes with each one. 7 stones. And it'll probably change again. And with that, the bear comes at me. Space is so small that it only takes him 2 steps. I scream and cover my face. Coward. And try to fold up into a tight as ball as I can. Before I knew it, Brian has me back again. Brian has me by the back of the shirt. He drags me over until I'm kneeling next to the hole. I can see it's definitely a grave now. You already knew. Because I can see the bones poking through the dirt, the bits of blue and white cloth that were its clothes. You mean Daniel, the 19-year-old ferret. I feel like telling all this to you and me being nice to you so far. Maybe don't come back after me. Just move on. I feel Brian move around behind me, then press something cold into the back of my head. A gun. I guess Brian probably has plenty of those. I'm doing the town some good after all. How? I blurred out, my mind racing, trying to think of something, anything to get out of this. Brian does pause, though. How what? How is this helping anyone? Why are you doing this? A few seconds go by, and I'm sure I'm about to hear the crack of the pistol. The last thing I'll ever hear. And then Brian sighs. Again, I feel like I should tell you everything so you know, and so you don't come back to fuck with me. But Duke, he said all this started when you came back. I told you, I have no idea why. My voice rises in pitch as I start to panic. Duke has already tried to kill me, even after we tried to convince him I had nothing to do with any of this. Not any of this? Are you sure of that? I feel Brian set his feet beside me, and I can picture him getting ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to die. This keeps happening, doesn't it? This hysteria. I'm sorry. Remember, this is for the good of the town. To me, it's like the town holds its breath, letting all the evil build up until it has to let it all out in one big go. Brian grips into my head for pressing the barrel of the gun into the back of my head. And you brought a lot of guilt and evil with you back to this town. Maybe that was enough to push it over the edge again. Rest easy. So in a way, it is your fault, isn't it? My eyes are watering and I don't know if it's from Brian's grip in my fur or if I'm crying. Help me. Oh, the music stopped. I say it to you. Look to the right. Okay, what's up? I glance to my right and see something standing in the entrance to our little hollow. It's faint, either because of the dim lighting or because the thing itself isn't quite opaque. It's tall, white, and gangly, and its long fingers nearly touch the ground. Its face is heart-shaped, the whiteness of it interrupted by the... Get that off the screen. Interrupted by massive, shiny black eyes in its face. It stands there motionless, watching us. I stare back, open-mouthed. Brian must have taken notice because the next thing I know, the bear squeals. It's so loud and high-pitched I wince. Brian lets me go just as the thing moves. It seems to lean forward and glide towards us, but the gliding is stilted, like a film with half-seconds missing from it. It flickers, seeming to turn transparent as it grows closer, the white fading to pink, then to a bright red, for a brief second before reverting. I'm frozen, kneeling as I watch. Brian backs away and promptly steps on the flashlight. The lighting careens sideways, and I look over to see Brian's foot slip on the cylindrical flashlight before his rump comes down hard on top of it. All light is extinguished, but I can't see a thing or Brian now. I hear him though, and he lets out another screech of pure fear, like a wounded animal. I hear something else too. A voice that's also high-pitched, babbling, something fast and senseless. It's like a tape recorder being rewound. Brian's screeching impossibly turns up a notch, and I instinctively move forward, away from the horrible sounds, and I pitch forward into the hole. The smell engulfs me, and I can feel the hard, knobbly things in the dirt around me. Where are we going? Just taking a back road. But we're leaving the city. Yeah, well, I live outside the city. You didn't tell me that. Let's just go back to the club. Alright, pull the fuck over, let me out. I said pull over! Where the fuck is the lock? You best not be doing that. Hey, get off me! I gasp and scramble out of the grave, gagging uncontrollably. Once I'm out, I curl up on my side, drawing in my knees again. The horrible screeching and bizarre babbling language continue, though the sounds from Brian are more ragged now. Occasionally the room flashes with light as Brian shifts around, but I face the wall, not wanting to look. Get up. I curl up tighter, just waiting, hoping that I wake up. You sniveling little shit, get up! I press my face into the dirt. Trust me, there's far worse out there, and it's coming for you unless you get up and get out. I've given up. Well, only option is to get up. You force yourself up and onto your hands. And, ooh, it's referring to us now. As opposed to Chase in first person. That is fucking with me. That is fucking with me. Who are we? Because he was talking to us for that moment. And now you force yourself up onto your hands and knees and start crawling into the direction of the exit. The flashlight continues to be rolled around, giving you glimpses of where you're going. The sounds from Brian have stopped. Now it's just the mechanical gibberish that seems to be growing in pitch and speed, but you don't look back. You don't need to see that. The otter is already broken enough. What? What the fuck? Soon you're crawling through the exit, and the cacophony behind you is immediately muted. It becomes more and more faint until it almost disappears as you come out the other side. Once you're free, you stand up in the comparatively fresh, cool air. The main tunnel. You remember this place. You also know the tunnel's like the back of your hand. It's pitch black, but you feel along the walls you should be able to find your way out. You head to the right, down towards the end of the main tunnel, with your right hand dragging along the wall. Then you feel an opening with your hand, and you take a left, and then another right. And finally, a final right. It takes you out the back exit. Nick had drilled the directions into your head so far too many times for you to... Oh, hell. Red eyes appear at the end of the tunnel, and the end of the stretch, and then the end of the last stretch. You freeze and observe. Things in the mind can hurt you far worse than things outside. Brian had just experienced that. But you're not sure. Is this one of the otter's demons, or... No, it's something else. Something you're not quite seeing correctly. A friend, the lizard, he's warped. Chase!